That's probably the rarest Carter family record there is, so I've been told anyway. It was sold for one day, so I understand. There's certain Sears stores had a couple copies. Anyway, I was down below Luray, Virginia, around Stanley on down in there, and kept every house I went to just about, they told me about this woman had all these records. Well, I didn't pay much attention to it because from the directions they gave, I figured it was 100 miles away. So I took one road after another, after another, after another, and I finally come down this road, and here was this old house sitting on the right-hand side of the road. It looked like records would fall out the windows if you pulled the window up. It was an old man on the front porch. No, we never had none of them talk machines, but you see that mailbox down there? I said, yeah. He said, there's a foot bath back there. That old lady back there's got all kind of records. So I walked almost a mile and a half back this foot trail, crossed the old log over a creek, topped over the hill, and there sat this old stone house. You wouldn't believe. Smoke was coming out of the old stone chimney. Come on in. Now, in a situation like that, you don't want to go in because you're a stranger. So I let her know that I wasn't local, and she said, well, I told her what I wanted. She said, come in. She had a big wind-up full, 3 boxes on the floor full. I pulled out, I know, 250 records more, and this was in there. I didn't know how rare it was. So the box, I had a big cardboard box. I couldn't lift it, so I had to drag it out of there. So when I got to the foot log, I took off my pants, shoes, and everything. It was in the summertime, and I waded across. The water was up to my waist. And I pulled the box across the foot log. I got on the other side, and then I had to drag it a mile, almost a mile and a half, to where I could see the car. Then I went down, got some small boxes, put them in, carried them down. That's the story on that one.
It was worth it, though.
Yeah, I got the whole bunch for like $20. I always leave the people quote their own price. I never,
right.
And unless they're crazy. You know, like they, well, I want $50 for that ring. But I never had any problem. Never had any problem. I had one woman, and looked at the records, and she had some beautiful stuff, and she was heeing and hawing. I don't know what I want to do. I thought, oh my God, and she had some nice stuff, vocalions. So what I did, I come out real quick. I said, thank you. Put a $50 bill in her hand and out the door of the screen. I was going before the screen door closed. I didn't give her a chance to say anything. I just stuffed them in her hand and beelined it. And I went to one place, the woman said, I said, do you have any old records? She said, I got plenty of kids you can have. Then I went to another place. Big old white house, had a porch run halfway around it. And I looked in the window, and there wasn't a stitch of furniture, but in the corner was a big wind-up Victrola. I said, oh, boy. So I went around the kitchen. That's where everybody lives at. And they came through and opened the door, and it was full of records. I was stuffed. I had a stack that high, and I walked back to pay for them, and they had a still set up on the stove, and they were making liquor. I said, how much you want for these records? Enough to get 5 pounds of sugar? I said, well, I didn't see anything. Oh, we only use it for our own consumption. So I got out of there. And then there was a woman, one time she had some nice records, and the old Victrola, the spring was broken. It wasn't no good. And I said, well, I like to get these records. You have to take everything. You want the records, you have to take the Victrola too. She gave them to me. So I think little Jerry was with me on that trip. We tied it on the top of the car and drove down about a mile down the woods and dumped it off in the woods. But I've had all kind of experience. I never had anybody ever say, get the hell out of here, or, you know, nasty or anything like that. I've had some weird.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had one time, this guy had these records. We went up and down this damn road, 4 miles each way, 50 times before we found the place. And he had a couple old beat-up Vernondale hearts. Man, what a waste of time. And we stopped at this house, and it says, anybody live in there? And the fellow was with me. I said, no, there ain't nobody live in there. I said, I bet you there is. I'm going to back up in there. So we went up and there was a foot trail running from the house to the outhouse. I said, somebody's using that outhouse because the path wore out. So we knocked on the door, and an old lady came to the door. And I asked her about records. Yeah, come on in. And she had a little Brunswick Victrola sitting on those steps, a stack of records about that high. And I found that Buck Mountain band, Wade Ward, I knew. Okay, real late. I got more. She went upstairs. You could hear her rolling around. And she come down with records and boxes up there here. And I ran up the steps and took a bunch of them. She got more. She sold them from her house. This one box, all Carter families, Jimmy Rogers, Grayson and Witters, all mint. One box had 5 barbecue bulbs, all brand new. Jimmy Davis Bluebirds, Victors, all kind of stuff. I said, well, how much you want for these? Exactly what I sold them, 75 cents. I said, I'll take them all. That was some trip.
And what year was that?
In the 60s.
And when did you find the Bear Creek? What year?
Probably in the 60s.
Late 60s,
Yeah,
early 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's,
Yeah.
the other side is Blackjack David, I believe, which was issued on another label. She liked the other side, so she wore it out.
Yeah.
She played this side very few times. It worked out one. If you see, you tell, let me flip it over, you can see how it's worn.
Yep.
Yeah, I got this side on a okay, when you know,
Right.
brand new, but that's the side.
That's the side.
I think there's 1 or 2 copies known. And one guy said he had one, but you never know, you know.
Right.
They make up these stories. Typical record collectors.